Funds Floating Fandango, presented by WMMS and Bud Light. I'm going to hit the Nautica Queen on Saturday, August the 26th. End of next month. You got to win your way on, though. I will have details about a couple of ticket stops we're going to do. You can come out if you strike out here. But we'll have a good time, man. If you haven't joined us before, it's going to be a blast. If you have, well, you know what's up. WMMS.com, hit the contest tab for another way to win your way on. Caller 10 right now. You and a pal get a couple of passes to join us the afternoon of the 26th of next month for the cruise. Good luck. Caller 10, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Some things are too good to be true. This thing is too true to be good.
The Alan Cox Show.
True dat.
On 100.7 WMMS.
Did you read they had to call out the SWAT team at Put-in-Bay?
Oh.
Put-in-Bay cops had to call other law enforcement agencies Saturday night, including a SWAT unit. They just had fights breaking out everywhere. They had about 20,000 people out there at Put-in-Bay. And they had to get the SWAT team out there. Put-in-Bay Police Chief James Kimball called for the Ottawa County SWAT to help regain control of the crowd. God, if anybody's listening, any of our customers were out there or saw this, man, I'd love to see some footage from this. Do you think that you think they had the choppers? Do you think they had the riot? I mean, these guys bring out riot gear when there's a cat caught in a tree now, so I imagine so, especially the SWAT team comes out. But, I mean, you think that they had the tear gas canisters? What do you think they punk? What do you think they did out there? Everybody running around in their what?
I thought I didn't have my sound off.
Anybody running around in their swim trunks, rubbing their eyes, trying to get away from. They also called out the sheriff's departments in Erie and Sandusky County, and got cops from Port Clinton to show up.
Because of what?
Multiple fights in a crowd of nearly 20,000 people.
Asparagus is in retrograde, so people are acting crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
Asparagus is in retrograde. About 30 SWAT members from the three counties responded to Put-in-Bay. You know, we gave away Jet Express ferry tickets last week here on the show. And I can't help but think that maybe...
we helped out? We contributed some way?
I mean, I'm just saying...
You fairy.
That we had something to do with that. What could have happened. Now, again, I would certainly hope that anybody in our audience would find themselves not in the middle of some kind of Donnybrook, but you never know.
You fairy.
So the Jet Express ferry service told deputies they were worried they were about to lose control of the dock. I've never been out there, so I can't picture any of this in my mind. I don't know what the dock looks like. You guys have been out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. You take the Jet Express, from the mainland out to the thing, and then how big's that dock? It's not like a skinny, like, White Lotus dock, right? Is it like a big dock?
It's not huge. I mean, it's enough for a ferry.
It's like an average dock.
Yeah, it's a dock.
We hadn't even left the Jet Express dock before we were called to a fight. Someone from the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department said it was fight after fight after fight for a while, but obviously it got to the point where they called out the SWAT team. Multiple fights broken up, but only 2 people arrested by deputies. But they did help Put-in-Bay police with several other arrests. It was a mess, said local law enforcement. So what about this weekend was different? I mean, people go out to Put-in-Bay all the time. People go out there to have a good time,
Was
right?
there a concert or something?
I don't think so. That doesn't happen until next month, right? The big Put-in-Bay Kid Rockathon or what? Is that what it is? Yeah. Who's out there this year?
Zach Brown Band, I think.
Is it? Bash
Or
on
Brad
the Bay.
Paisley. He usually couples up with a country artist.
Pitbull and Luke Bryan.
Luke Bryan.
With L. King and the Brothers Osborne.
They're good.
Is it Brian or Bryant?
Bryan. Bryan.
Okay.
That's the guy you were having shots with
Yeah.
when we were out there?
We go way back.
Yeah, Bill and Luke Bryan go way back to he doesn't know if there's a T on his name.
Mm-hmm.
That's why if you talk to Luke
We're
Bryan,
not that kind of friend.
well, in all fairness,
We don't know each other's names. We just hang out.
in all fairness, Luke Bryan, the very brief conversation I've ever had with him, he said, "Is it Squire or Squirt?" So August 23rd and 24th, the Bash on the Bay. That first night is Pitbull and L. King, and then Luke Bryan and the Brothers Osborne.
I like.
Gee,
Brothers
I
Osborne.
wonder which one will sell more tickets.
You guys might like Brothers Osborne. They're a little more like rock country.
Tell you
than...
what, who I gave a shot, Jelly Roll. I listened to one of his songs.
Yeah, he's like rock country too.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Chris Stapleton of the moment.
Yeah. I call him Ralphie Hay.
Is he big and fat like Ralphie May was?
Yeah.
Ralphie Hay is your name
Yeah.
for him? I see what you did. See, I get that too.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Let's see.
So that's who's out there. Gesundheit.
I'm allergic to bad jokes. Thank you.
Oh, well, you're going to be sneezing a lot
Why'd you
between
sneeze?
me
Because
and
that was
Bill.
a great joke.
You are going to be sneezing a lot with. Wonder if there'll be any fights that'll break out over Pitbull and L. King.
I wonder if there'll be any fights that break out on the Captain Fun's floating fandango. It's so many words.
I love it.
I love it.
I'm
I'm just trying to get it.
And I cut that down from what I originally wanted.
What was it
to.
originally going to be?
I forget, but I wanted something so utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
That and then because then everyone in the air would have to say it, and that made me laugh. But I'm like, well, let's not.
I've been getting hit up so much about that.
Oh yeah.
People are just like, how do I get tickets? How do I get tickets?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Can you give me tickets? I'm like, no, I can't give them to you, but you can win them.
We have now again. We haven't done it since 2019, but before that, we had an unbroken string of no one going overboard, and I consider that to be a big win. We weren't sure if it was because they made a big deal about that new boat. They had the Lady Caroline. We are going to be on the Nautica Queen. I think as of now, I don't know if the Lady Caroline is almost. I think I got the impression it might be too big for what we need. I don't know if they have them both running, but we're going to be on the Nautica Queen, which frankly is where I feel most
it's our
comfortable anyway.
That's our
that's where
home
we've done it.
at sea.
That's right. So we have had no one go overboard in all the years that we've done and it wasn't for lack of trying. There were a couple of times Poundcake was really getting under my skin. And he implored me not to toss his dear beloved mother over.
Well, you'll have another opportunity this year.
She making you get her tickets?
Of course, she'll guilt me into it.
Now, how will, people can only guilt you into something that you allow yourself to be guilted into. Right? People go, oh, I feel guilty. I mean, you allow people to make you feel guilty.
Well, what would I do? Am I going to replace my mother with, like, all my friends? She would feel a ways.
But is she your plus one?
If I get one, yeah.
I mean, it's our event. You'll get one.
So, yeah, I would bring her.
Okay.
And then she'd be like, but wait, I got to bring one of my bitches from work. So I don't know. But, yeah.
Well, that must make her coworkers feel good that when she's talking to you, she calls them bitches.
Yeah, bitches from work.
I got you. I mean, I'm going solo, so you can be my plus. Your mom can be my plus one. How do you like that?
She might actually.
How do you like
that a
them
lot.
apples?
She would like that a lot. And it doesn't take a lot to get my mother drunk. You give her one Bud Light. She's like, what is this? This is strong. I'm like, mother,
I'm not.
It's a beer. It's called Bud Light.
Right. No one's also looking to get your mom drunk, I'm pretty sure. I mean.
But she can't help herself. She's like me when she sees something free and she's in an environment where it's encouraged, she partakes. So she'll have one beer and she'll like, it tastes funny. I'm like, because it's beer. You're not used to drinking beer, Mom.
It tastes fun, but she's had beer before.
She
knows
not a beer
what
drinker.
But she knows what it tastes like, right?
I don't know that she has.
What does she normally drink?
She's a wine drinker.
Okay.
And then Corona, I guess. I think she.
But there's wine on the boat.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But if
there's drinks and
if she wants to be a sport, she should have Bud Light.
The only thing I can find that happened in Put-in-Bay this past weekend was the antique car parade.
Well, that's why didn't you say that?
I'm actively looking for it
Of course,
right
that's
now.
what's going to create the riots.
But that's what happened but it was also on Sunday.
Those
This was
boomers in their
last night.
classic car cruises, boy, they do not screw around.
So I'm like searching the internet trying to find out what was going on this past week, and
Wow.
that's the only thing that has come up. So
SWAT teams at Put-in-Bay.
might be.
A mass of people who were becoming unruly. Love the word unruly. A great word. Hey, you over there, stop being... Are you guys getting unruly? I'm going to need you to dial it back to ruly, okay?
Where you're unruly just means you're not following the rules.
Probably, sure.
Unruly.
Good enough.
Oh, annual Pirate Fest weekend. That's what it is. That's a big deal out there. Everyone
It
dresses up
is?
like pirates, and it's a bunch
Why didn't
of
they
drunk
mention
adults.
that why didn't they mention that in any... Is it because...
They probably don't
any
want bad
Pirates already
name
got so
on
much
it.
bad press, yeah.
It's a big draw for the island. So if they say, hey, they
Don't
want
come
you
out
to
here
come
on
to
Pirate
Pirate
Weekend.
Fest, but then if they say, oh, by the way, there's also going to be
There was
riots.
actually rape and pillaging happening.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's what pirates do.
Man, I gotta get back to Put-in-Bay. I haven't been as an adult.
I've never been.
Oh God, I gotta get back there now that I'm of.
Why
drinking
would
age.
you ever want to minimize what the Pirate Fest is? It's supposed to be like
This is why. It's
technically any other weekend in Put-in-Bay. It's just a bacchanal of people running around and being morons, but
They have little
that's
hooks.
Well,
that's
it
the
says
fun.
right at the bottom, Put-in-Bay Chamber of Commerce approved event. That's why I guarantee it's not listed anywhere, because this is something that's put on by the island.
So if anything
Like
goes
the
wrong,
yeah, this is put on by the government of Put-in-Bay.
The government,
And-
the emperor of Put-in-Bay puts
Yes.
this on.
well, the Chamber of Commerce.
does it have a mayor? Does Put-in-Bay have a mayor?
I don't know. I don't know island law.
It might be one of those places where they have like a dog or like a
A donkey is the
yeah,
mayor.
Something silly like that.
Yeah.
Everything the light touches is my realm. Like,
Margaret Ruth Scarpelli is the mayor of Put-in-Bay. She replaced the former mayor who resigned in the spring. Jessica Dress submitted her resignation letter to the council on March 23rd, citing personal and family health concerns.
it's literally 151 people on that island
That live
year-round.
there, yeah.
I know, but like, how do you even? Did they even have an election? Who shows up to that?
Well, yeah, you just need a person who's like, yeah, okay, I'll do this.
150.
And they probably have like a council of people and...
God, that would be so boring. I'm just like, all right, well, I feel like I'm on like a TV show or something.
But that's what you want, right? If you're living in a place like that, you want it to be boring.
Be remote.
You don't
like,
really, I mean, on the one hand, you're trying to get people to come out. So you're like, yeah, okay, let's do a Pirate Fest. Let's have Pitbull show up. But also, like, the rest of the time, you want it to be boring.
Yes, but in the winter, think about that. Like, no one's coming to visit you. Like, you're going to be stuck on that island. No one wants to get on a ferry to visit you.
I imagine that's part of the allure.
Yeah. I think people who are going there to live don't want to be bothered.
No, they do
probably
not.
don't even live there in the summer. They probably rent their house out from April to September.
Oh, you think they're so hardcore that they only live there in the wintertime.
Like,
they
that's
totally
their
like
only
it.
house.
You know how much money you can make if you rent a house out on Put-in-Bay?
Oh, I know. They really love that island life. We winter in Ohio on an island. You might be right. Put-in-Bay residents, let me know. Are you down with the Pirates? Alan, last weekend they did Christmas in July. Detroit buses come to the island and it never
so
goes
that's
well.
both then. It's
Wink,
Christmas
wink.
in
I know what that
July.
means. Wink, wink. Pirate Fest was in June, I'm being told.
Oh, that does say 6/23 to 6/25.
It was Christmas in July, is what
Whoops.
people were saying. Okay, well, there you go.
Did you know that this past weekend was 7/23?
Yes, I did.
Not 6/23.
6/23 is my birthday, so I knew that was last month.
What a dummy.
You mean I could have celebrated my birthday at Put-in-Bay Pirate
could've.
Fest?
You could have, and you missed
God.
out.
Didn't.
Damn it. I have an eye patch at home just going to waste.
I'm 30 whole days late, and I apologize for being an idiot who can't read the internet. Sorry.
The Antique Parade happens every Sunday at 1.
Oh, okay.
Well, buses from Detroit, wink, wink. You know what that means. Hey, D,
Yes.
Were you out there for Christmas in July?
No, but I have worked out there for Christmas in July.
In what capacity?
Security.
Okay. And so you've seen it get crazy like this where they call SWAT team out?
Well, they talked about it. Yeah, it got pretty crazy out there a few years ago, and they obviously didn't have it with when COVID and a lot of the events. But
Sure.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll leave it up to people to guess what the groups from Detroit were doing.
Yeah, but also that implies that people, if there was nobody from Detroit, people would everybody be well behaved. It's
Yeah,
Ohio.
it
Let's
would
not
go
kill.
well.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. Everybody's still going to get drunk and fight. So this whole Detroit bust people in should be licking their asses. They bust in people from Detroit. That's more tourism money. It's not like it was going to be prim and proper without them. I've never been to Put-in-Bay, but that's all you hear is stories from people going out there that can't handle their high. Grown men and women. Hey, Jenny,
Hey there.
you were out there?
So I wasn't on Put-in-Bay. We were actually out in Kelly's Island, but my boyfriend and his best friend, that we were out on their boat this weekend, they went to that last Christmas in July years ago before they cut it off because of the whole busing in people. And Bill, it sounds like the last caller kind of covered what I was going to say. I get it. We're all jagoffs and Ohioans, Detroit people. It doesn't matter. We're all going to be dumb, but it was just this whole idea of getting in, like basically cheaply or freely getting here on these buses and funneling it in and adding more jagoffs to the mess. So
I see
they don't
what you
actually
mean.
do Christmas in July anymore, but people still go out there for that. Even people on Kelly's Island had like their little decorations for Christmas in July, but Kelly's Island is much more fun, and you're not going to be in a 20,000 person place.
Okay, so just so I understand this, is the implication that the buses from Detroit are getting there and then at night they're going back, or those are still people staying there?
I believe they're staying there.
Well, then they're still
don't
kicking
quote me
in
on
money
that.
in the
I'm not
local.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess a small price
I'm
to
not
pay.
100% on all those details.
I
but
gotcha.
I do know that was what kind of caused the whole ending of that years ago when they like actually advertised it as Christmas in July. I know. I'm like, drunk people are everywhere. It doesn't
sounds
matter
like it
where,
didn't
it's just
end,
if you
though.
add more to them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jenny. It sounds like it didn't end. It sounds like that's what was going on. And oh boy, people having a good old time out there. We got to get out there.
It's a mess.
Hey, Max,
Hey, how's it going?
what's up?
Well, nothing much. Just exactly what the last caller said with the buses coming out. The island doesn't want to celebrate Christmas in July anymore. I went to high school up on that island, and then I worked on the island for 10 plus years after that, but I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. Well, but all these people are telling me
Yeah,
that it was Christmas in July this past weekend. So they are calling it that, or they aren't calling it that.
The local businesses will not call it that.
I
No one
see.
celebrates it anymore. Like in the years past, they had the Christmas lights, boats came in with their lights and all that. But a lot of the owners said, you know what, we don't want to
I see.
have that craziness happening, so they stop advertising it. But
So
it's
they're
sadly a little bit too
hoping
late.
if they change the name, they can pull the wool over everybody's eyes from Detroit. They go, no, it's regular July. There's no Christmas happening
it's just
here.
a weekend. It's just a weekend.
It's just another weekend, guys. Stay in Detroit. Right. Okay, thank you, Max. There's Max out in Brook Park. Well, you're almost to Canada there in Put-in-Bay. You think a little bit further, you might be able to enjoy some, I don't know, maybe some international waters before you hit Paley Island.
I love that, though. I love how they're trying to reverse. Like, they created this monster, and they're like, yeah, well, we're going to just not call it. We're just going to forget that this whole thing ever happened.
Well, listen, I get it. I mean,
People aren't
there's
just going to come.
There's people who do live there, and obviously you want a bunch of, you rely on tourism. Like, I get it. But after a while,
level.
people can't handle themselves. Yeah.
You need to
You reach like a critical mass. It doesn't matter if they're coming from Detroit or elsewhere. You can get that many people. There's going to be a lot of problems because people are drinking and partying and they just can't handle themselves. And so, you take the rough with the smooth, I guess. But after a while, they're like, all right, we got to pull the plug on this whole thing.
I never understood why they never had, like, pride at Put-in-Bay, like gay at the
Because
bay.
people would die. Cody.
So,
That's why.
Yeah.
There's some sacrifices that's got to be made. To
There
have a
would be
wonderful-
no pandering going on there.
Yeah, I know. I'm just pissed. People are ruining things before I even get to experience them. Like I always heard
Some
about.
sacrifices have to be made. You're not going to be one of them. You ain't sacrificing yourself.
No, that's why I
You're
never
not be a
go-
martyr for the cause.
I never do anything the first time. Like I let it go by, let them work out the kinks, whatever problems they have. I won't be there for it. But the second time, I'm like, what do we learn? How many casualties do we have? Okay, so not to do.
Poundcake is he's the opposite of an activist. He's a
No.
pacifist, right? He
An
waits
activist.
for all the other stuff to happen. All right, now get in there. That looks good. Thanks, guys, for giving of your time and potentially your lives.
Problem is, I waited too long for Christmas in July. Now I'm not gonna be able to experience it unless I'm on a yacht. Unless someone wants to take me on their boat.
Well, you want to take Poundcake on your boat, hit him up. Poundcake at AlanCoxShow.com. I've got to take a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192, I will have. You want to go see Baroness? That's a great band, boy. They're coming through.